your screen, the near side is the hemisphere we see from Earth. That is identifiable by those dark splotches, which are ancient lava flows.
Science integrity. A question and a comment. Question is it possible that we're seeing a Schrodinger basin from this vantage point in the Terminator at the South Pole? And the comment is Ohm. The rays coming out of Ohm are less distinct. We are not seeing the bright rays coming out of it, but the sort of 9 o'clock wedge that is formed by the change in albedo from the interior portion that is to the northeast to the surrounding lighter mare that's 270 degrees to the west. That 90 is very distinct and interior. You got some great descriptions from the two at the window about the colors in there, but in that darker part, in that wedge, you've got some really interesting color, even though the rays, the distinct difference in the albedo almost look like rays, but it's not the rays coming out, it's the just change in that albedo.
Integrity science, that is very intriguing, those color rays coming out of Ohm rather than sort of albedo. And as answer to your question, we do not think you can see Schrodinger. It's in darkness as of now. But thanks for that Ohm description, and it sounds like the pair at the window's got great descriptions that we're definitely going to dive into tonight.
Okay. If you could help me, I would still love to know what it is. There's a very nice crater. You're going to likely have a lot of pictures of it. What would be right in the Terminator at the South Pole or close to the South Pole where it's intersecting the Terminator right now?
Yeah, Victor, we're assuming you're talking about, kind of if you're looking at the Terminator, it's basically like 70% down from the North Pole. Is that where you're looking?
Contact, yes, that is where I'm looking.
Integrity Houston, that is an enabled caution for wastewater dump required. We have hit our limit. As expected, no crew action.
Copy, no crew action.
You are.
And integrity science, we're trying to figure out what you're looking at there. Is it like right on the Terminator, or is it in the illuminated portion next to the Terminator?
Things we'd like to take this moment for. Our science team helped us out with a couple of relatively fresh craters on the moon that have not been previously
While we wait for a response from the crew, the Terminator is that difference between day and night, or brightness and darkness, that you see on the moon.
And we spent a bit of time this morning looking out the window. And
we see this from the International Space Station as well, looking down at Earth.
And through the long
and science from integrity, excuse my space orientation adaptation. If you draw a line between Bluescope through the center of Oriental, and then another line from Bluescope through the southern tangent of Oriental, that line would almost perfectly intersect tangentially the crater that I'm talking about, and it is on the Terminator. So yeah, I think I'm not looking at the South Pole. I was a little twisted.
That line description was really helpful. I have eyes on the SIR right now, and they are actively discussing lunar geography. We will be back with you shortly.
We started this journey in our close-knit astronaut family, and we lost a loved one. And there's a feature in a really neat place on the moon. And it is on the
You're hearing a couple of voices today in Mission Control Houston. One of those is Dr. Kelsey Young.
Integrity Science, we believe that's Zeeman Crater.
Of the moon's transit around Earth, we will be able to see this from Earth. And so we lost a loved one.
Oh, I pulled it away from the speaker. Say it again, please.
The spouse of Reed.
We believe that that is Zeeman crater.
And if you want to find this one, you look at Glushko.
Zeeman. Okay, and can you say the first letter? I may be pronouncing that wrong. What's the first letter of that word?
It's a bright spot on the moon.
Zulu. It's Zeeman.
Copy. Thank you for that. Yes, we've got a great view of that. And when I went back to the window just now, the view has completely changed. Our trajectory is taking us to a new view, and I'm looking more into Vavilov. I've got a nice, great view into Vavilov. I'm actually away from the window right now, so I'm going to go try to give you some bounding words off the view that we're seeing. I've got to get back to a window in a minute.
We got humanity's first up close.
Understood, Victor. You're defining new views of the moon in more ways than one.
Again, when you hear calls down to science or from science, that's Dr. Kelsey Young, the Artemis Science Flight Operations Lead here at a console in Mission Control. You also hear communications with the crew from Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jenny Gibbons. She is the Capcom for today. She is a backup Artemis 2 crew member. Those calls from pilot Victor Glover asking about a feature he was seeing, specifically a crater on the moon. Meanwhile, the team here in the science evaluation room was actively working together to determine which feature he was describing. The teams at the window have continued to move through their targets, including Ohm, Aristarchus Plateau, Reiner Gamma, and we are preparing for the cabin and window teams to swap. That's when we'll hear more from Reed Wiseman and Jeremy Hansen when they take on these support roles, while Christina Cook and Victor Glover are at the windows photographing and annotating. As we briefly mentioned, if you look towards the right side of the moon, essentially, this live view coming from a camera outside the Orion spacecraft, and if you look on the right side of the moon where you see those dark patches.
Wow, yeah, I wish I had some more time to just sit here and describe what I'm seeing, but the Terminator right now is just fantastic. It is the most rugged that I've seen it. From a lighting perspective, there are little islands. There are islands of terrain out there that are completely surrounded by darkness, which indicates some real variation in terrain. Up to the north, there is a very nice double crater. It looks like a snowman sitting there, in the 5-10 degrees below the pole in the Terminator. And then on the southern edge, there's almost like a hole. It looks like a hole, and it's the diameter of Vavilov size, just blackness, and then a wall of bright, and then it goes back to the black beyond the Terminator. So there's it looks like there's just a gigantic hole right there, 1 Vavilov diameter east of the Terminator. And as you go south, the Terminator is not a nice smooth arc. It's just jagged. There's almost a 110-degree turn in the shadow as opposed to the nice smooth arc, again indicating some really interesting variations. And I'm sure we'll get some photos of that. And then one of the craters further to the south of Vavilov, maybe halfway down to the South Pole, is not only looks like just a deep hole, and then there's like 2 island rays pointing off to the west and north that indicate very high ridges and very deep canyons coming up out of that crater. So again, just some really interesting visual illusions going on with the shadows there. Like I said, there look to be islands out beyond the terminator because some of the things, maybe even a Vavilov diameter into the terminator are catching sunlight on the peaks up to the north and to the south. It's very, very interesting to see.
Integrity Science, oh my gosh, that was an amazing picture you just painted. I glanced over at the SIR video and I literally saw fist pumps in the air. Those types of observations are things that humans are uniquely able to contribute, and you just really brought us along with you, so thanks for that.
That's awesome, Kelsey. Did you get a sit rep updating you on a slight change in logistics for PCD use?
Christina, this is Houston. We did not, but we will take it now.
We slightly changed the PCD plan for the window observers. The two window observers kept their PCD. So in other words, the one at window 2 went to window 3, and the one at window 3 went to window 2 when they swapped rather than staying at the window. We'll plan on all observers keeping the same PCD for all observations.
Thrusters on the Orion spacecraft service module. That burn completed at 10:03 p.m.
Copy,
Central
Christina,
Time,
that makes sense to
11:03
us,
p.m.
and
Eastern
the
Time
plan.
to further
We are coming
fine-tune
up
the
here
Orion
on
spacecraft's
a cabin
trajectory
and window
as
team
it continues
swap.
to make its way
Let me
around the
know when you're
moon,
ready
and it
for a
was
quick
a good
vehicle
burn.
status.
Integrity Houston, good burn. We are assessing the details.
To kick off our Easter Sunday by honoring our crew mate, Jeremy Hansen. We have a long-standing tradition in the astronaut office of the traditional astronaut pin, and when you fly in space, you change from silver to gold. And so we figured today was a perfect
As you heard,
day
science.
to honor
Go for the vehicle system update
with his flown astro pin.
Howdy, Reed. We don't have much for you. We just wanted to let you know that toilet right now is no-go for use as we stick with the predetermined limit for now. All crew members, please use CCU. Otherwise, Orion is looking very good. And you have 15 minutes in this handover time where we expect Victor and Christina to switch to the windows and you and Jeremy to be in the cabin assisting. Let us know if you have any questions.
Good morning and happy Easter to everyone down on Earth. We wanted to kick off our Easter Sunday by honoring our crew mate.
No questions at all. They're in the swap right now. The first thing I'll tell you, I floated up to the docking hatch window and just
pin, and when you fly in space, you change from silver to gold. And so today was a perfect.
What I'm going to call the Mari around Orion just looks so different out the docking hatch right now. It's quite a bit darker. It's the same darkness, if not a little darker than Grimaldi. But it's cool after just being in the 400 mil for the last half hour, looking up close. I got pictures of everything Ike was just describing on the Terminator. It really is a fascinating Terminator. And then Orion just looks looks so dynamic right now. It's very three-dimensional out the docking hatch compared to what I was just looking at through the 400 mil.
We love it. We are getting a sneak preview from one of our SAW cameras at what you're looking at, and we see some of what you're describing. We cannot wait to see your photos. Thanks.
Yeah, Jenny, I wish you had some longer lenses on the solar array so you could see the whole moon, but man, it is, or the up-close moon, not the whole moon, but it is just fascinating here. It's so cool.
All right, MPO and INCO, take notes. We want a zoom lens on those saws next time. Thanks, Reed.
As the crew gets ready to switch positions from the window crew going back to the support crew and the support crew flying up to the windows. This view inside the room, Capcom Jenny Gibbons speaking with the crew, Canadian Space Agency astronaut. The crew has continued to provide excellent descriptions of what they are seeing on the lunar surface. In this picture, or in this live view actually, from Orion and a camera mounted on its solar array wing, if you look at the dark portion on the right side of the screen, those are visible from Earth. That's considered the near side. Those are ancient lava flows from a time early in the moon's history when it was volcanically active. And if you look towards the left, there's that dark, large crater that appears to the left of those lava flows. That's Orion's Hall Basin. It's about 600 miles wide, and it straddles the moon's near and far side. And this mission is the first time that humans have ever been able to see this with their eyes in the daylight. Again, you hear conversation about that Terminator. You have a great view of that as well. That's the difference between light and darkness on the moon. Victor Glover explaining that as a very jagged looking Terminator due to the peaks that they're seeing and the craters that they're seeing as they prepare to cross over the far side. You also heard science officer, the Dr. Kelsey Young, Artemis Science Flight Operations lead, sharing with Victor Glover that his responses are truly something that only human eyes can discern or provide. So we've previously discussed how having humans observing the moon on this mission is being combined with lunar robotic data to help us maximize what we know about the moon. So part of that data comes from the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, or LRO. This orbiter provides the robotic foundation that makes Artemis 2 lunar science possible. LRO has been orbiting the moon for 17 years, which makes it the longest operated lunar orbiter in history. And it's also the only American spacecraft dedicated specifically to lunar science and exploration. Artemis 2 lunar observations are designed to complement data like the detailed surface images from LRO. So while LRO provides those detailed high-resolution maps of the moon's surface, the Artemis 2 crew adds human observations that focus on regional context and relationships between features, giving scientists a larger geologic picture. Now, this combination of robotic and human observations strengthens lunar science. LRO delivers precise and repeatable measurements over long periods of time, while the Artemis 2 crew contributes real-time visual descriptions and context that robotic instruments alone cannot provide. The best description I've heard while preparing for this mission is to compare the difference in looking at the moon with your own eyes on Earth and trying to take a picture with a camera. The camera truly never does it justice, and it's much easier to describe and perceive what you're seeing with your own eyes than to take a photo. These Artemis 2 astronauts can rapidly scan wide areas and adjust their focus in real time, as well as describe relationships between
Commander Reed
features.
Weissman,
The crew will also observe the same regions multiple times under changing lighting conditions during the flyby and provide perspectives that would take robotic missions years to accumulate. During the Artemis 2 mission, LRO is also attempting to observe some of the same lunar features that the astronauts are studying. Collecting this data simultaneously highlights how different instruments and human eyes provide complementary information about the moon. This LRO data plays a direct role in preparing for future Artemis missions. Its measurements of topography, surface temperature, composition, radiation, and lighting conditions are used to assess hazards, identify safe landing sites, and locate potential resources such as water ice near the lunar South Pole. This mission, Artemis 2, represents the point where years of robotic preparation are paired with human exploration for the first time in the Artemis era. So together, LRO, the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, and Artemis 2 are demonstrating how NASA moves from mapping the moon robotically to exploring it with humans. We are laying the groundwork for future Artemis missions and sustained lunar operations. A check-in with Orion. We are now 4 days, 21 hours, and 22 minutes into the flight of Artemis 2, our crew aboard the Orion spacecraft. We are now 8,153 miles away from the moon, 250,742 miles away from Earth. The spacecraft is traveling at 1,030 miles per hour.
Beans. So we do have to eat our vegetables even in space, but don't worry, they do give us mac and cheese.
Named the Orion spacecraft Integrity and revealed that fall of 2025. They shared that it embodies the foundation of trust, respect, candor, and humility across the crew and the many engineers, technicians, scientists, planners, and dreamers required for mission access. So when you hear teams here and Mission Control Houston calling the crew and referring to them as Integrity, that's exactly why. For the Artemis 2 mission, the crew named the Orion spacecraft.
And Houston, we have some Earth and Moon viewers here who are putting in requests for different motions so that they can see things in the window.
We're seeing them in the camera views and we're enjoying it. So look at those scientists go.
In seat 2, that is where Victor is, and Christina is nestling into seat 1 with the long lens, and we're just getting ourselves oriented here. It's a cool view in the cabin. It's actually a cool view to be off the camera now and looking at my crewmates getting up to their observation posts and looking in. It's super fun.
Copy all, read, we like it.
I'm glad you brought that up, though. I think these observances are important, and as we are so far from Earth and looking back at, the beauty of creation, I think for me, one of the really important personal perspectives that I have up here is I can really see Earth as one thing. And, when I read the Bible and I look at all of the amazing things that were done for us who were created, it's you have this amazing place, this spaceship. You guys are talking to us because we're in a spaceship really far from Earth, but you're on a spaceship called Earth that was created to give us a place to live in the universe, in the cosmos. I think maybe the distance we are from you makes you think what we're doing is special, but we're the same distance from you, and I'm trying to tell you, just trust me, you are special. In all of this emptiness, this is a whole bunch of nothing, this thing we call the universe. You have this oasis, this beautiful place that we get to exist together. I think as we go into Easter Sunday,
as
thinking
we heard
about
confirmation
all
from
the cultures all
NASA
around the world,
astronaut
whether you
and commander of
celebrate it or
Artemis
not,
2,
whether
Reed
you believe in
Wiseman,
God or
they
not,
are now switching
this is an
positions
opportunity for us to remember
of
where
the
we
support
are,
teams and
who
the
we
observation
are,
teams.
and that we are the same thing, and that
So
we got to get
initially,
through
Reed
this together.
Wiseman and Jeremy Hansen were at windows 2 and 3 in the Orion spacecraft, taking photos and making annotations in their PCDs, portable computing devices.
And see their smiling faces is very exciting.
Descriptions into their PCDs, wearing headsets with microphones and providing recordings that the science team will be able to listen to later. We were hearing from NASA astronauts Christina Cook and Victor Glover as they made observations as part of the support team. Now, as these teams are swapping, we anticipate hearing more from Reed and Jeremy as they'll be on the support team, while Victor and Christina will be at the windows taking photos and making annotations.
go for TLI. With this burn to the moon, we do not leave Earth, we choose it.
Humanity has once again shown what we are capable of, and it's your hopes for the future that carry us now on this journey around the moon.
And Integrity Houston, we have some news to share with you. As of 30 seconds ago, you are now closer to the moon than you are to us on Earth.
To show us a wastewater dump. So you heard Commander Reed Wiseman that Commander Reed Wiseman reporting that they don't necessarily hear those wastewater dumps, but that they do see them. So you're getting a live look outside the windows of the Orion spacecraft as they conduct that wastewater dump.
Integrity, we copy that successful wastewater dump.
And Christina.
So the comfort garments we put into the Flight Day 1 clothing bags. So we basically just swapped the locations as we changed into our Flight Day 1 clothing.
And Jenny, for the science team, if they can mark this time, I just covered up window 4 to block out the ambient light from a very bright planet Earth. And it'll be interesting to see if in the data Victor and Christina see any differences from me and Jeremy with that window blocked. It's a lot darker in the cabin now.
Copy, Reed. We're taking note. We'd be curious too.
Return.
Continuing to test out every bit of Orion.
Coming back to Earth, 7 miles a second.
When humanity sets big goals, we can bring together genius from around the world.
We are live in the Artemis mission control room during the lunar flyby of the Artemis 2 crew, the first
innovate for the benefit of humanity and to inspire the world through discovery.
Orion launched 4 days, 21 hours, and 30 minutes ago atop the SLS rocket, Space Launch System rocket from Kennedy Space Center in Florida.
Good evening and welcome.
Our 4 crew members inside the spacecraft are transitioning their positions. The cabin and window teams have swapped. Currently at the window,
right
we have
over
Victor
there.
Glover and
Just
Christina
a
Cook,
recap.
NASA
Yes.
astronauts, and serving as support, Reed Wiseman and Jeremy Hansen.
Next. The
For our
astronauts have
crews at
been
the window, they are using handheld Nikons with an 80 to 400 millimeter zoom lens. There are also GoPros on each of the solar arrays on Orion, and that's where this view is coming from right now. We have an interior camera of the crew as well, but they have dimmed the cabin lights. They've actually turned off the cabin lights to allow them to better see outside of the spacecraft. This also helps prevent any reflections from lights inside the spacecraft reflecting onto the windows while they are photographing the moon.
Afternoon from the Space Coast of Florida, where 4 astronauts are about to suit up for NASA's boldest test flight in a generation.
Our goal is to pursue the secrets of the universe, to change the world in air and space.
We have a ton of people gathering around the world to watch this history-making moment.
This crew cohesion, we're at the point now where we are ready to go fly.
I've had shivers run up and down my spine a number of times.
This mission is an opportunity for our generation. It's about human history. It's the story of humanity.
The question isn't go or not go. It's are you going to lead or are you going to follow?
This crew could be the first humans to journey around the moon in more than half a century.
The Artemis 2 crew is go for launch. Full send.
We talked a little bit about the views and the cameras being used on the Orion spacecraft. And again, we do have GoPros on the tip of each solar array.
Artemis 2 now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
We do have to downlink a lot more data. That includes their environmental control and life support system. We are not the only data, this view that you see, coming down from the spacecraft, and so we do rely on sharing some of that with the other flight controllers in mission control. This helps the team monitor all systems aboard the spacecraft and ensure the safety of our astronauts.
I think Artemis 2 becomes just that first little teeny tiny curb that we stepped up on this really long journey.
Yeah, we have good separation, good motion. We are ATP go.
Confirmation, separation from the interim cryogenic propulsion stage.
Good motion. Go for 180 pitch, confirmed. Separation confirmed, Houston.
Houston copies.
All right, here comes the pitch rate. Stand by for separation.
We are standing by for a situation report from the crew aboard the spacecraft. They've been imaging the whole moon. There is now a new crew at the window. That would be Victor Glover and Christina Cook. And so being it's their first time since they have moved up to the window positions, they have a chance to orient themselves and describe and take pictures of any
the
color
crew of
or
Artemis 2 now bound for the moon.
Surface.
Humanity's next great voyage begins.
The brightness or reflectiveness.
Integrity science for a science sit rep when you're ready.
Good roll pitch.
Roger, roll pitch.
Houston now controlling the flight of Integrity on the Artemis 2 mission around the moon.
Integrity, AMT high. AMT high.
On time, passing 30 seconds into the flights. Integrity passes the alternate beacon. Target milestone. Mission Control Houston seeing good performance on the 4 main engines. Space Launch System core stage. Integrity, 3 miles in altitude. Traveling more than 1,200 miles per hour.
Houston Integrity, we have no external view of the moon right now for the floating crew members, so my only science sit rep is that we have Victor in window 3 doing observations and Christina in window 2 with the long lens.
Integrity, we copy. Are the shrouds still on windows 1 and 4? And if so, would you consider trying to get a view through one of those windows?
We cannot take the shroud off of 4 because the Earth is too bright and it's impacting Ike's peripheral vision. And then I can get a grazing glimpse out the docking hatch window. I can see Oriental.
Integrity, AMT high.
And the primary thing that I see from Oriental right now is just the long trenches that come out. And, you know, when you come on the north side of Oriental, you have the boulders across the northern half of the far side. But coming out the southern half of Oriental, I just see those large, here they look like gorges. They're almost like...
Good evening and welcome to NASA's Artemis 2 post-launch news conference. I'm Bethany Stevens, Senior Advisor and Press Secretary.
What it looks like. Also, Burgess Alpha is extremely bright. It's the brightest thing that I can see. Even brighter now than Aristarchus, which is heading off to the Terminator. It's almost impossible now to see Aristarchus, the thing that Jeremy and I looked so much at. I can just barely see the crater rays from Ohm, and I would say for albedo right now, I would go back to Grimati is still extremely dark, especially in that southwest corner, and there are parts of Oriental and the outer ring of Oriental that reach that same level of darkness, especially the rings of Oriental reach the same level of darkness as Grimati. And then south of Grimati, Jeremy and I were noting a few other just really dark areas of cratering, or I'm sorry, mare there, and those have that same darker albedo, but Burgess Alpha is the brightest, and Grimati is the darkest.
Integrity Science, that was a great description. Thank you, and thanks for the docking window geometry to give us that description. Any comments before you go on the annular ring in Oriental?
The annular ring, which I think everybody kind of describes as like a pair of lips or a kiss on the far side of the moon from here, is very circular in nature. The northern part of it is wider, darker. The southern part is much lighter. It is very neat looking, and but it is far more circular than I remember it looking in our training. The darkness of the northern side of the annular ring is the same darkness from here out this docking hatch window as the center mare in Oriental. Not quite as dark as Grimati, but it is probably only because dust and lunar regolith has kind of impacted over time.
Reed, that's exactly what we were looking for. Thanks so much. You have heart hands coming out of the SIR.
Say that again, Kelsey.
Just saying that the SIR was really excited about that. That annular ring was something we were really
25
eager to hear
engines.
about.
4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff. The crew of Artemis 2 now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
Good roll pitch. Roger, roll pitch.
Houston, now controlling the flight of Integrity on the Artemis 2 mission around the moon.
Integrity, AMT high.
That was NASA astronaut Reed Wiseman, now providing a science sit rep as he is away from the windows most of the time. He is working as the support person along with Jeremy Hansen in the spacecraft, as Victor Glover and Christina Cook are now at windows 2 or 3, able to photograph the moon. Christina and Victor are also providing recorded information to their portable computing devices, that's their PCDs, and the science team will have access to that at a later time.
To crew.
They will then review it and
Commander
compile
Reed
all
Wiseman,
of this data
Pilot
to help
Victor
further
Glover,
our understanding of the moon. One of the items you heard mentioned was Oriental Basin. This has been a very exciting opportunity for the crew. They have all been very excited about seeing Oriental, as well as the science team has been looking forward to it. It is known as the Grand Canyon of the Moon, as we discussed earlier. From the pictures, the science team is hoping that the crew will take centered images of the entire basin and surrounding craters in a single frame, but also use those 80 to 400 millimeter zoom lenses to create a mosaic entire basin. With their unaided eyes, the science team is hoping the crew will describe southern dark annular ring, which you heard Reed just describing, as well as any color, albedo, texture, or topography across the mare patches and ring mountains. Science team reports that the observations will be used to study the geologic evolution of the youngest lunar basin and to inform formation hypotheses for the annular ring. And again, another fun fact about Oriental is the diameter is the same distance between Johnson Space Center, where we are today, and Kennedy Space Center, where the crew launched on April 1st.